Hey everybody, this is Pac MMA, and UFC 323 just went down, and what an amazing card. That was probably potentially one of the best cards of all time, if not for the Pantoja Van sort of fluke. The channel blew up literally overnight while the card was going down, so thank you to all who subscribed. I think the entire population of Myanmar watched my video and got literally almost 200 extra subscribers. So thank you guys so much for the support. And Joshua Van gets it done by fluke injury. The first 20 seconds of the fight was incredible. They were getting at it. Pantoja landed one really good low kick, but then missed the next one immediately after. And that's kind of what we talked about in the breakdown, was Pantoja spamming those low kicks and Van being susceptible to them, rather. Yeah, that was just incredible. But unfortunately, Pantoja lands really funky on his arm. Seems to have dislocated his elbow. Hopefully it's nothing too crazy, but that looked pretty nasty. So hopefully he's back and we can run this back as soon as possible, because I don't know, it's hard to accept that as a real win for Van. I did want Van to win. We're talking about Van Nation over here, Van Mafia, but yeah, it's a hard pill to swallow, and I don't blame Van for celebrating. He worked hard for this. He worked hard to win, and he's won on paper, and he should celebrate like he won. But I wish he was a little bit more gracious talking about it. But hey, Pantoja, heal up quick and we can run it back, even though after that, I really don't think he'll win a rematch. Maybe he will, and maybe he'll come back. But yeah, not the best look for Pantoja. Good stuff for Van. There was actually one sequence where I kind of felt like I had it on the nose. Pantoja goes in with a jab. Van slips on the inside. Pantoja tries to land a right hand. Van rips a left hook. It doesn't really land, but I think that if that sequence happens 10 more times, he's landing that left hook 7 out of 10 times, and I think that would have not been great for Pantoja. So yeah, there were shades of a great fight there, and it was a great fight for the 20 seconds that it lasted, but I mean, really unfortunate. It really just sucks, man. It is weird that you're able to win a title that way, and I don't really know how to feel about it, but oh well. In my mind, this is sort of like an interim title until Pantoja and Van rematch. We can have Van fight Tyra in the meanwhile, which I think is a really, really interesting fight, and I don't know who to pick for that, honestly. I think that's really tough, as much as I want Van to win that. But I think it is really, really tough. But moving on to the main event, which is the other fight that I made a prediction on. Petr Yan versus Merab Dvalishvili 2. I can't believe it. I'm so happy. I did make a video talking about this fight, and I know that I picked Merab in that video. That was my prediction. But I really did want Yan to win, and I tried to think about every case that Yan could win this, but I just figured that this version of Yan was not going to be as sharp, and he proved me wrong. He looked as sharp as ever, and I did pick him on verdict, because if Yan were to somehow win this and I didn't pick him, I would never forgive myself. Skill matters in MMA again. Skill matters in MMA again, and it is good. It feels good. Skill once again matters in MMA. Bantamweight is back. Yan is champion. Yan Mafia, Team Yan. Yan strap season, let's go. It was a phenomenal game plan by Yan, This fight sort of just came down to Yan being so much more sophisticated on the feet. He had neutral offense. He didn't just have big left hooks and right hands like Merab did. He had jabs, he had kicks, he had body kicks, he had low kicks, he had oblique kicks later in the 5th round. Yan was just so much more ahead of Merab on the feet. It was very clear. And yet, Merab still made it not close. He did not make it close. By the way, I think it's kind of crazy that people are saying that this was some people out there are calling it a robbery, which we're not even going to entertain that thought. But there are some people who think that this fight was closer than it was, and honestly, I thought it was a 50-45 watching it live. I thought it was clear 50-45 Yan. I think you can give the first round to Merab because he did land a lot more early in the round, but Yan rocked him and cut him open. So that's just that gives him the round very clearly, in my opinion. But I'm so happy that Yan won. It was very it feels like this is the gift that the MMA world is going to give us after literally every single big fight falling through except for probably like Volk and Lopez and Ilya Charles. Like every single real big name fight of the year just kind of sucked. I'm very happy though, because it feels like after a whole year of hardship, we finally win. The fans finally win. We finally get what we want. We finally have strikers at the top of the sport again. You know, it's not even about strikers, because Merab was out-wrestled by Jan in this fight. Jan dunked Merab on his head while going for a guillotine, and I think that was good from Merab to constantly attack the guillotine, because he had it, not close, but he had 2 good attempts throughout the fight, like 2 or 3 good attempts from Merab. They were good Hail Mary guillotines, just trying to threaten Jan while he's on the floor, but Jan was too slick, too good, too devastating, too punishing. And, you know, the way that I thought that Van was going to beat Pantoja kind of happened in this fight, where I thought that Jan was way more punishing on the feet than Merab, just significantly more punishing, significantly more versatile on the feet, just the deepest bag in MMA. I really don't like that term. I think it's just silly, but it is true to an extent. It is true. And all Jan cells are vindicated. Jan Mafia. I feel really bad for Merab, though, because he did try to make history. He is one of the greatest fighters of all time. And now Jan rewrites history. He is back in the mix. He is the best fighter at bantamweight now. Really interesting title picture, I guess, because Merab trilogy is on the way, I would imagine. But yeah, this is incredible. So, and yeah, I'm just so happy that my 2 guys won. I went 11 and 2 on picks this card, because I did, or I guess 11-1 and 2, 11-1 and 1, because I got Jan wrong, but I mean that was a draw. So, but yeah, really amazing card. What a card to end the ESPN era. That was just phenomenal. That was a phenomenal card. Unfortunately, ends a little sour with Van, but I'm glad that Merab Jan really freaking turned it around, because I was really feeling down about that. But Joshua Van, let's go. Petr Jan, Van Mafia, Jan Mafia. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Coming out with a lot of videos over this winter break, over December, hopefully, because, you know, like a 6-week break. It's going to be great. I'm going to be grinding these videos out. Hopefully, we're going to be making a really big video on Korean MMA soon. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.